Hello, Sarah. Lovely to see you here.
Hello, it's lovely to be here. Very exciting.
Yes, me too. I'm really looking forward to having a chat with you to talk about you, your journey, and yeah, what brought you here, where you are now as the power coach. Um, yeah. Do you want to kickstart off by telling people a little bit in general about yourself, where you live, where you're based, what your hobbies are, and then we get into your
Okay,
journey.
okay. Well, my name is Sarah Pike, and I am the Power Coach. And I help women step back into their personal power. Why do I do this? I do it because at the age of 4, I stepped out of my own personal power. And that really affected how my life unfolded. I mean, it was younger than 4 that I stepped out, but I talk about the incident of a 4-year-old, but I stepped out of my power way before I was 4. And as a consequence, I grew up. I was successful. I've always been successful because I've always pushed myself to achieve what I wanted to achieve to help me move forward in life. Um, but I never had strong friendships. I never had strong friendships with women in particular because of my younger experiences. It was women that let me down. And so I never had close relationships with women because I didn't see them as my friend, even though they were, and they tried really hard to be my friend. I was like, nah, nah. And I was completely cut off to having friendships with women. Um, and so that's how I lived my life. I was quite lonely, even though, I was successful in what I did. I pushed myself. Um, I was quite lonely. In fact, I was very lonely and I didn't like it. Um, and it took an awful long time for me to be able to say, I'm Sarah, the power coach, and I've stepped back into my own power. Took me a very long time to do that. Took me I had to really look deep, go within. Um, I've always been I've always been on the healer's path. That's always been my path. Um, Sometimes I would fight it, and sometimes I would go with the flow. But there was always inner turmoil inside of me. And it's exhausting when you've got inner turmoil. If you're a healer, I had no problem in helping other people to heal themselves. But for me, I had to know everything. If somebody came and asked me a question and I didn't know the answer, I would take, oh, I have to know that, but I don't have to know it. I don't have to know everything. And so that to me is really important.
You want to tell us a bit about your journey then? What, if you say you've always been a healer, and what was your first experience with healing modalities? And can you tell us about what you trained in?
Well, I'll tell you my very first. I've always been strongly associated with spirit. Spirit has always been. I didn't come from a very religious family. We never went to church. I didn't have a mother. I didn't have that woman um, role model that would look after me and nurture me and teach me. Um, but I've always known that spirit's there. Whatever you want to call it, God, source, spirit, whatever. To me, is spirit. And I had my first conversation with spirit when I was 4 years old, and I remember it. And I'd been put in this room because there wasn't anyone to look after me. I was a hindrance, so I'd get shoved wherever. And I'd been put in this room, and it was a cold, horrible, miserable room. It didn't have much in it. Didn't have any toys, didn't have any books, didn't have anything. And I remember saying to spirit, why am I here? And I was 4 years old. Why am I here? Why am I here? And I was telling him off. I was telling spirit off because of where I was, what I was experiencing, and I wanted to know why. And I was quite angry. This angry 4-year-old, I wanted to know why. Um, and through my life, I've always been attracted to people who like mystics, tarot readers, spirits, people that can channel spirit guides and angels. I've always had angels around me, and I channel angels. But for many years, I wouldn't even recognize that. I wouldn't tell anybody. Oh my goodness, I'm not going to tell you that. You know, what are you going to think of me? I was so worried about people's judgment that I wouldn't. So all my life, and when I lived in London, I moved to London. And I was very lucky that in Camden Town in London at that point in time, there was like a psychic centre. And this psychic centre had all these wonderful people in it. And I loved it. I really felt that I'd gone home because I was with my tribe. And then it closed down, and then I moved out of London. So I closed the lid on that box. I closed it firmly, and I didn't do anything with it for many years. And when I moved to where I am now, I'm situated in Buckinghamshire. When I moved here, that was when I started to take the lid off a little bit, just a little bit. And then my goodness, it all came out. It all came out. But it all came out. And that was when, because I didn't have a proper education. I went to school, but I was bullied, so I wouldn't stay at school. I'd go, but I wouldn't stay. And like, you know, obviously I know how to read and write and stuff like that, but things like grammar, proper punctuations and full stops, and how to create, you know, things like that, I had to relearn it. I had to teach myself. And so I started just doing things that I knew would serve me. And I remember the moment in particular, we bought this house, the house that we live in now. And when I saw it, it was completely covered by trees, surrounded by trees. And before I even got inside the house, I thought, yes, this will do. I can hide here. I don't have to see anyone. I can hide, because I was very good at hiding. So I bought this house because it had trees and you could hide in it. And I'd gone to school one day, and I was always stood on my own. I was always alone. And I remember standing in the school, and
you mean with other school mums?
Yeah, I never stood with other people. I never joined a group. I've never done it all my life. I've never done it. And I remember once I was standing in the school playground waiting for my children to come out, and I thought, I don't like this. I don't like this. You know, I wanted, but I couldn't. I physically couldn't go and talk to somebody because I was in pain. I was in so much pain inside that I couldn't physically do it. And I said to myself, right, this is going to stop. This is going to stop now. And the moment I said that, like the light that poured into me, it was a life-changing moment, just making that one decision, making that one intention. And when I made that decision, that life-altering moment, because if you're in a place of pain and you're always shut off from other people, the moment you decide that you're going to change your life, the light does come in and your light gets brighter. And as a result of me having that moment in time, people started to come into my world. People started to arrive into my world that would tell me why I was feeling the way I was feeling, because I didn't know. They would tell me why I was feeling that way. They would show me ways that I could, and Kat, they would show me ways of how my life could change, how I could release all this anger, sadness, and guilt and shame, because I carried it all with me. I had a big rucksack, and it was full of all that. So that's part of my journey.
What
I'm sorry?
Is once you make the decision that there needs to be a change.
Yeah. And also,
once you make as well, once you make the decision, then things will unfold. So the breadcrumbs, the people, the opportunities will come.
And also, once you know how to make the changes, once you learn from others, because we all learn from others, and we all grow. Like I always say that sometimes we're the master, sometimes we're the student, sometimes we're the teacher. And it goes around in a big circle. And once you learn how to change your life, you learned different steps to do it, to change your life. You have to do it. I couldn't even look at myself. So I couldn't look at myself in the mirror and say, I love me. So I had to do is I had to find a photograph that I was reasonably happy with, look at the photograph and tell the photograph I was happy, and talk to my younger child, my younger person inside me. And then from that step, I was then able to look in the mirror, and then I was able to do other things. But you know, that the word discipline, I love that word. And most people, they think of the word discipline as of being told off or being disciplined when you're at school. But discipline to me is repetition. Yeah. Repetition, you know, and I will till I'm no longer walking this earth, I will do it every single day, because if I don't, I will slip back. And you know, if we're not in alignment mentally, physically, mentally, and spiritually with one of those things, then we're not in alignment with any of them. So, you know, repetition for me is really important.
And you're such a shining example. And for anyone who's watching this, I remember Sarah, who were hiding in a Facebook group and not really engaging, because I don't know what went on in your mind, but you know, probably a lack of confidence or not feeling you belonged there. And I think we're almost always our worst enemy, our self-limiting beliefs that we hold about ourselves cause havoc with our confidence. And like you said, you know, not talking to mums at the school gate, it's all little ways it shows up, and you are a really great example for someone who's doing the work, is willing to go there and free themselves from that conditioning.
Well, I remember the first time I went on camera on a Zoom, and I think it was on my iPad. It was on an iPad. It wasn't a laptop. It was an iPad. All you could see was like the corner of one eye of my eye. I wouldn't go on it. I would not go on it. And I remember the first time that you messaged me, and you invited me into a group, and I hadn't, because I'd locked myself away, because I'd put up barrier after barrier after, and it was me doing it. It was nobody else. And because I'd done it, I had alienated myself from other people, and I didn't get invited many places. I didn't get invited because, well, I just didn't. And I remember I got this invitation from you, and I thought, oh, should I go? Should I go? Oh, I don't know. Should I go? And then
I remember that very vividly, because you said, oh my God, no one has asked me, and you're the only person. It just shows, if you're energetically in a bubble, you placed yourself in a bubble, people can actually not reach you. But
you did. I think you were meant to reach me, but you did.
Exactly. The right time, and then I guess you felt seen and heard, or whatever happened. Yeah.
Well, very quickly, I'll just give you a bit of the background. I've experienced a lot of things in life, my younger life, which contributed to how I lived my life. And as I say, I was abandoned by two women by the age of 4. One was my mother at 2.5, and another was a lady who used to look after me, but stopped looking after me. So then I was left to other people's hands. That's all I'm going to say, because other people are still alive and I don't want to upset them. But I was left to other people's hands, and those hands weren't kind hands. They weren't kind. And I experienced abuse. I experienced physical, sexual, mental abuse. And I remember, as I was going on my healing journey, and as I said, I had my conversation with Spirit when I was 4. And I've been with Spirit, and I've left Spirit, and I've come back to Spirit. I've always been pulled back. And I remember once when it became clear to me what I was going to be doing, bearing in mind my relationship with women, when it came clear to me what I was going to be doing, I remember having another conversation with Spirit. And I said to Spirit, are you having a laugh? Are you having a joke with me? You want me to work with women when women have only been mean to me? And that was it. That was it. It was like all my everything that I'd been through made sense. Everything that I'd experienced made sense. My own behavior made sense. And I'm now at a point in my life where I can sit in a room with a woman, physically in a room or on a Zoom, and that woman can tell me anything, and I won't feel sick. I won't feel scared. I won't feel I've got to run away. I won't feel I can't handle this, because Spirit equipped me, and that is what my mission is. And one other thing is, if we're doing anything in this lifetime and it doesn't feel right, we're not aligned to it, we weren't born to do it. And I know that I was born to serve women. I know that what I went through was the reason to serve women. And plus it's made me who I am today.
So would you say the biggest challenge, the biggest hurdle to overcome was really the key to your purpose and the healing that you had to go through was the foundation for what you can now? The learning you've learned and the wisdom you can pass on is really at the essence of what you do now.
Oh, absolutely. You know, like as I said earlier when we first started talking, I was a wounded healer. I really was a wounded healer. You know, I could help other people, but I wasn't helping myself. I was making all the right sounds and noises around other people, but I wasn't. I was a wounded healer. So absolutely. Yeah, I was a wounded healer.
And would you say you feel your most authentic and empowered self right now?
Oh, absolutely. You know, years ago, I wouldn't have spoken to you like this. If you'd have got me on, well, you wouldn't have got me on a Zoom anyway. If you got me in a room to talk to me, I know 100% I wouldn't have spoken like this, because I wasn't in a good place. I wasn't confident, but I had to appear to be confident. Now, if I'm not confident, I'll say, well, I'm not too sure. I'm not feeling that confident. I am so transparent. You know, you could see right through me. You know, I would, if you ask me a question, I would tell you. If I have an answer, I would tell you. If I don't have an answer, I say, I don't have an answer, but I'll look for somebody that might have an answer for you. But, you know, because honesty really is the best policy, and you always get found out. If you're not true, if you're not authentic. And I one thing that I've really learned on this journey of healing for me is that it's okay for me to be vulnerable. It's okay for me to be vulnerable, to show my feelings. I now come from my heart. I live life from my heart. I love from my heart. And what I used to be, oh, I'm not going to trust you unless you show me that I can trust you. Now I'm going to love you, whether you know, regardless of what you say or do to me. I'm going to love you.
That made a massive difference of how people interact with you. If you're pivoting and no longer coming from a place of fear, but you're coming from a place of love and self-confidence in yourself, that surely must have brought opportunities and people into your life that otherwise you would never attract.
Well, do you know, absolutely. I've met so many wonderful people, women. I've met so many. Who knew there were so many wonderful women in the world? I do, but I didn't. But I do now. And you know, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I can't get my words out. I remember I've met really wonderful people, and globally I've met people, and globally I speak globally. But I remember I had this wonderful business coach, and she said to me, because of the way I was talking, now she's not spiritual at all, you know, she's not into any of that. She's a business coach, she's business. And I was talking and she said, I know what you are. And I said, what am I? She said, you're the power coach. I went, oh, am I the power coach? She said, yes. I went, oh, I don't know about that. And when she said to me, no, you must tell people you're the power coach. Whenever you talk to anyone, you say, hello, I'm Sarah and I'm a power coach. And I thought, no, I can't. I felt sick. I felt scared. I felt really, really awful. And I mean, I can't say that. She said, you can, you're the power coach. And I started to tell myself I'm the power coach. And eventually I believe it. And now I am the power coach.
I guess it's like putting a new set of clothes on that first doesn't feel you, and then you own it and you strut it and you, yeah. Ah, Sarah, you, yeah, no, it's, I mean, I know the story because we've been on this journey together, but for you to be able to inspire other people and go out there, and especially women, and who maybe never felt they could have close friendships with a woman like yourself. So do you want to got about a few minutes left to tell us about where people can find you and who you really like to work with? How can they get in touch with you? I know you're on Clubhouse as well, so share a little bit where people can find you.
Well, thank you. Everywhere I am the power coach. On Facebook, I'm the power coach. Well, Breeze Holistic Therapies. You can find me at Breeze Holistic Therapies. That is my business. That is where I love to be. I love to be at Breeze Holistic Therapies. So you'll find me Breeze Holistic Therapies. I'm the power coach. On Instagram, I'm the power coach. On LinkedIn, I'm Sarah Pike. Where else am I? I know I'm all over the place. Socially, I mean.
Your Clubhouse, you're very much involved in the gratitudes.
Yeah, in Clubhouse, I'm a moderator in the Daily Gratitude Room, and I was really, really pleased that they are, because they're now a non-profit organisation, and they asked me to go on their board of directors. So I'm now on the board of directors of this American non-profit organisation, which is amazing. It is life-changing. It is transformational. It is motivational. It is a fantastic room and a fantastic movement to be part of. You know, if you imagine, oh, you've got me going now, you won't shut me up, you'll have to cut me off. But imagine if you go into a room every single day and you listen to people sharing their gratitude, and you listen and people, you know, I've had people say to me, oh, it's a bit superficial, isn't it? You know, it's a bit sweet. It isn't. You know, we've had people come into the room who were thinking about suicide, you know, and they came into the room and they started listening and they start speaking. And when people come in there with that kind of mindset, they will come and they will say what they're grateful for, but you can feel it in their voice, even though it's an audio app, it's still energetic, you can still feel it. And then they start coming back because they know that they're going to be heard and seen and loved. That's what they know. They know they're going to get that. And then they change. They change, and you can feel it, you can hear it, and then their wisdom starts, because everybody's got wisdom. Every single person has got something to share with the world, and they start to share, and it's just beautiful, beautiful. And one last thing I will say, together we rise, together we are better. And I would never have said that years ago. I thought I could heal in isolation. No way. And if I can change my life and the life that I had, be where I am now, anyone can do it. Anyone, regardless of your environment, regardless of what you're experiencing right this moment, you can change your life.
Wow. And I think this is a lovely full circle where you started saying about how lonely you were and isolated, and it's another proof that what you overcome, you can help other people with. And I think loneliness, feeling alone, feeling disconnected is such a big thing. If we don't speak to other people, it stops us from accessing the help that's out there, and there is so much help out there.
Mm.
Would you like to add anything else? Anything else you want to share?
But I just want to say, you know, to anybody that might be listening to this, whatever you're experiencing, wherever you are, it, you know, you can change it. You know, there are people out there, and don't think that it all boils down to money. It doesn't boil down to money. There are people out there that will help you. You just have to reach out, like I did. I just had to make the decision I was going to change my life and reach out, and that's when the universe, also in spirit, said yes. Now's the time's right. So that's it. And one last thing: everybody has treasures within them. Every single person has treasures within them.
One thing that just came to me when you said that is, and I said that to someone else a little while ago. I think it's us who feel that we maybe have intuitive gifts and healing abilities. Maybe we've been connected to the spirit at a young age and have to suppress it like you. I think we're often the black sheep in the family that feel disconnected and don't belong, and then we go through life, and it is a repeating pattern that we feel alone and lonely and disconnected and we don't belong. And so if that sounds like you, reach out. Circle for Transformation is full of people who have been on the path, who can support you. And yeah, reach out.
Yes, reach out. Don't suffer in silence like I did.
No. And we're quite good
Reach
fun,
out.
aren't we?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
we're not too woo-woo. We're still down to earth.
No, you should be at some of our meetings.
We're using practical approaches. Yeah. So thank you, Sarah, for hopping on.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
And we hope we reach a lot of people with it who need to hear the message. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.